What's up, guys? Simone Fan 101 here, and this is my TNA Impact review. This will be my final TV review of the week, unless there's like pay-per-views on weekends, in which case I will review those, but not this weekend. Next weekend's a different story. Next Friday, I got Death Before Dishonor, although I am definitely sure I'm going to have to review that on a later date because of how late I usually get the Ring of Honor shows. Saturday will be NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and Sunday will be SummerSlam. Yeah. But anyways, let's get the TNA Impact, shall we? We get off the show with an EC3 promo. Basically, hyping up his Bound for Glory match against whoever the world champion will be, most likely Bobby Lashley, at Bound for Glory. And speaking of which, Lashley came out, basically said that EC3 was not on his level and that he could not beat Lashley. Although, EC3 has been shown to beat Lashley in the past. If you watch the Bound for Glory, not the Bound for Glory series, but if you watch that tournament back in late 2015, not even late 2015, earlier this year, EC3 beat Lashley. Although EC3 was the heel and Lashley was the face. Then James Storm came out, and this started to get a little bit. It was a fun opening segment, but it was almost kind of like a clusterfuck. So James Storm came out and basically said that, just hyping up the match later in the night, because in the main event of that night, James Storm would defend his King of the Mountain Championship and a title match. Bobby Lashley would defend both his TNA World title and his X Division titles. So yeah, there's a lot on the line here. And so they eventually brawled to the back. EC3 got jumped from behind by Mike Bennett and Moose, who, he's had a rivalry with Mike Bennett. And then Eddie Edwards comes out because there's a scheduled tag team match that was supposed to happen later in the night between Edwards and EC3 and Bennett and Moose. But because of the brawl, the match, and Edwards saying, no, he wants them now, well, we got the match in the beginning of the show. Overall, I thought it was a good match. A nice, solid tag team match. It built up what it needed to build up. It was short, it was sweet, it got the crowd going. Oh, speaking of which, the crowd was all into the show, which I will explain a little bit later why. Like, it was good here, but man, the crowd got better, I think just the second right after. Yeah. So, Bennett and Moose defeated Edwards and EC3. What happened was Moose hit the Sky High, which is basically like a choke slam style power bomb, like the A-Train bomb almost. Back when he was wrestling in 2003 and 2004, so kind of like that kind of move. And they called it Sky High, but Mike Bennett got the tag, and when he got the pin on Edwards instead of Moose, who was already well enough good for the pin, Moose was confused. Not so much confused, but like annoyed. I like how they're building this up, like Moose does technically want to be on his own, but like something's obligating him to Mike Bennett. But I hope this does last a little longer, because Moose just made his TNA debut. I would hate to have him be heel for like a few weeks, and then, all of a sudden just turn on Mike Bennett for no reason. I wanted to build up in the next few months, maybe after Bound for Glory. Oh yeah. How could we forget? Well, hold on. Yeah, just to make sure, later in the night, I'm gonna get to it now because it's related. Later in the night, I believe maybe that's a segment or two later, Eddie Edwards went to the back, confronted Mike Bennett and Moose, and said that he wanted a match against the Miracle. Well, he didn't get that. Instead, next week he will face Moose in a one-on-one match. And Bennett says is that if you beat Moose next week, maybe you'll face me. Good stuff. but it paled in comparison to what I think was the best thing of the night. So we had a debuting wrestler by the name of Aaron Rex. And from one look at him, sorry, got distracted. From one look at him, Aaron Rex is actually the former Damien Sandow from WWE. So yes, Aaron Rex is now Damien Sandow technically is now in TNA. I was about to say WWE. I wish he was in WWE. He should be higher. God, they fucked him up so much. So what happened was, Aaron Rex came out, which is his name here in TNA, and basically made like a shoot promo on WWE. He did say that it was nothing against the people on the top, but he said he wanted to break down the preconceived notion of what he was. He even said in the promo that it's not about brass rings or it's not about glass ceilings. It's not about any of that stuff. And he said that according to some people, they found him too entertaining to be anything above what he was, which was a comedy character. He did say world title contention. I didn't think he would be, WWE champion, but I didn't think he would be good enough on the card where he could make a little bit of an impact, like an upper mid card kind of guy, who dabbles in the main event, like Dolph Ziggler did, and that would have been good. And he wants to break down this preconceived notion that he's only a comedy guy, and all throughout, and he showed a lot of good fire here. It is weird though, because just a few days ago I reviewed WCPW, and Aaron Stevens is Damien Sandow as well. Aaron Rex, Aaron Stevens, they're all Damien Sandow. So he's technically on two shows at once. So that's either good for him or bad for either WCPW or TNA. Then again, he wrestled on the tapings at WCPW. It's probably just the tapings that, have to get mentioned, everything. But, yeah. So Aaron Rex is in TNA. I hope he does well. And he even mentioned the guys that, left WWE and succeeded in TNA. EC3, Drew Galloway, Lashley. Although Lashley was like the pet project of Vince, but Lashley just left because of complications in storyline. He didn't want to do something, WWE didn't like it, so he left. And he's been better off ever since. He went to TNA, went back to MMA, went back to TNA, dabbles in both, and look at where he is now. He's on the top of the friggin' world. So, anyways, next segment we had, I guess I better hurry this up, I'm already 8 minutes in. We had Gail Kim backstage, confronted Maria. The whole thing with Gail Kim is that if she keeps beating all of the obstacles that Maria puts in front of her, she will eventually get a TNA Knockouts championship match against Sienna. And Gail Kim's Maria is technically the leader of the Knockouts, and in storyline, and she says anybody who can knock off Gail Kim will be rewarded handsomely. And yeah, so Gail Kim had a no DQ match with Marty Bell. This could have been good, but the problem was it only lasted a few minutes. This was the worst match of the night. So Maria, and it was not at all helped by the fact that Maria and her assistant Allie came out immediately as the match started and kept on causing interference after interference. And after the match was over, Gail Kim beat Marty Bell, and Jade came out to stop the post-match attack made by Marty Bell and Allie, who, God, that annoying-ass high-pitched voice. Jesus. It really, I guess that's the point. It's supposed to grind on your ears, but I think she does it too well. Jade came out for the save, and Maria announced that next week that Gail Kim will face Jade in a match. Now, my only hope is that they give these women time, because Gail Kim is a good wrestler. Jade is a good wrestler. I'd love to see that. I would love to see Gail Kim and Jade get 10 to 12, maybe even 15 minutes of time just to work and kick ass. They could really have a great match if they just give them time. But TNA is going backwards. They're not giving the women enough time to wrestle on pay-per-view, on TV. At least WWE's taking that extra step to remedy that. So we had another one of those crazy Matt and Jeff, the broken Matt vignettes. Matt Hardy, and I love this shit. Matt Hardy was being driven to Jeff's location, and he said he loves you, like he's like one of the most important people in his life. And after he gets out of the car, it's revealed that the driver is actually Vanguard 1, the robot. You know, a callback to his Matt Hardy V1 days, Matt Hardy version 1. So that's just nuts. And I love that when he said goodbye, because he sent Vanguard 1 to protect King Maxwell, his son, and Rebecca, or Rebby Sky. And they went to, and he went them, because he had a premonition, which is exactly how he said it, and sent Vanguard 1 to protect King Maxwell and Rebby. And when he said goodbye, we get the screen point of view of Vanguard 1. And on the screen it says goodbye. I love that shit. Matt Hardy says that they have a match tonight against, we didn't know at that point, but that they will retain they will regain the tag team titles. Well, technically, Jeff will regain Matt Hardy's tag team titles, as Jeff got injured and they had to vacate. So, good shit here. The next thing, we got the match between the Hardy Boys, technically, and Basile Baraka and Baron Dax, who's the former Sylvester Lefort and Marcus Louis. They're calling themselves the Tribunal. They're being, accompanied to the ring by Al Snow. Overall, good match. Not good match, but I said good showcase. And it did what it needed to do. It wasn't the fact it was a good match that I liked it. It was what happened after it, what it led to. Matt Hardy apparently hypnotized a fan to rip up his Jeff Hardy is, okay or something like that sign. His Jeff Hardy sign. And after the match was over, he basically ran down Jeff again. And this is when Jeff finally snapped. He gave several twists of fates to Baraka, Dax, and Al Snow. He put 2 tables out. He did a twist of fate. No, he did a crossbody from outside the ring to Al Snow on the table, basically saying over and over again, "Is that good enough for you, Matt?" He said, and then after he got Al Snow through the table, he said, "The only one that punishes myself is me." He went up to the top rope and swanton bombed himself through a table while he had a microphone, and it almost sounded as like Broken Matt was having an orgasm. Like, Jesus. And, so Matt, and now Jeff apparently is broken, because he even says he's broken, and that he is Brother Nero. Brother Nero! So yeah, good shit here. Now Jeff Hardy is broken. Broken Matt and Broken Jeff. What the fuck kind of vignettes are we gonna get with Broken Jeff? I want to see. As if Jeff Hardy is not crazy enough. We got a brief promo with a Decay backstage. I guess Bram is dead, apparently, because for some reason, because there's a bunch of vignettes between Rosemary and Bram building up their so-called relationship. And Bram was kidnapped by Decay and taken off in the back of a truck or something like that, or back of a car. So I guess Bram is dead. I don't know. They were talking to as if Bram was dead, like this was his fault. He should know I'm not like any other girl. Next, we had a brief Drew Galloway, a Drew Galloway segment that cut straight to the point. So the whole thing with Galloway is that ever since he lost the title, he's been screwed out of opportunities. All of them by EC3 by accident. The first time, it was a mistake. The second time, he was pissed off, but he could let it go. The third time, however, which was, I think it was 2 weeks ago, how could you fuck up 3 times? and he says he's like green with envy. EC3 is jealous of him. I guess they're building up to a Drew Galloway heel turn, which would make sense because, you know, he keeps being screwed over and over again, and there is no retribution. So Galloway announced Galloway challenged EC3 to a match saying that whoever won the match will main event Bound for Glory. So yeah, that was a good segment, really good. And main event, and I just gotta say, and throughout the show, we've been getting these James Storm like comeback story promos, package promos, which are very good, especially the first one. But they're all very, very good. You should watch every one of them because it made you feel for James Storm, like it actually might happen. They even built up how he won the title back in 2011 when he super kicked Kurt Angle in a minute. As for the match itself, the match was pretty good. It was a pretty good match. I hate the fact that they took a 4-minute commercial, which took me out of the match. But it was a really fun match. James Storm hit the last call super kick at the beginning of the match, a callback to his match with Angle 5 years ago. You know, there were several desperation moves. Lashley hit a spear. James Storm, after getting his head hit in the exposed turnbuckle, James Storm kicked out. Not James Storm. I was about to say Matt Hardy. So, yeah. Matt Hardy. Now, why am I thinking Matt Hardy? God damn it, Broken Matt. Get out of my head. So, James Storm had 2 last call super kicks out of desperation. I didn't like how he went immediately for the pin and Lashley kicked out. I wish it could have been one of those things where it's like a slow build, like he's down for like 20 seconds, he crosses Lashley, and then Lashley kicks out because he got a long time to recover. Then after James Storm hit the lung blower or code breaker, whatever, Lashley bounced against the ropes, and with his momentum that he hit the spear and Storm, and he got him for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Bobby Lashley is your new TNA King of the Mountain champion, and still TNA World Champion and X Division champion. I love this shit. This was the second best TV show of the week, second only to the Cruiserweight Classic episode with Tajiri and Grand Metalik, and of course Cedric Alexander and Kota Ibushi. This was a great show. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you do, because you're going to have a lot of fun watching it. The wrestling may not be the greatest like it was on the Cruiserweight Classic, but the storylines, the 2 matches that I mentioned, the opener and the ending, it did what it all needed to do. This was a really fun show. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later. It seems that my recording has gone back to normal from the looks of it. So maybe I can do long reviews again instead of